This is Connections. Soft opening. Connections. Soft opening. Connections. Soft opening. Soft opening.
I'm not a mic test.
This is our soft opening. This is our soft opening. This is
All original music by the original artists. I get here saying.
Are they originally original? No. Where?
Hi everybody, who's that? What happened?
Nobody.
I'm doing the robot.
Hi kids. Yeah, I know,
Doing the
right?
robot.
Slide closer here to Dizzy.
Slide to the left.
Slide to the left.
Slide to the
We're
right.
doing the studio slide here.
Yeah, we have to.
There we
have to
go.
Get the camera there.
You know,
Yeah.
the
Uh-oh,
last
there's-
person that slid there with me ended up having COVID.
Yeah, I know, right? And then calling you, you're like,
Yeah.
Really?
"Jeez."
Yeah, like.
But we didn't get affected. So.
Good.
I think that you should quarantine.
Hey, sorry.
I got you quarantined.
But yeah, wait, can I hear you again, please?
Hello.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you talked off mic and
What-
you were not there at all. That's
What
good.
is the WhatsApp app? And why am I able to share it on
Oh,
WhatsApp
WhatsApp.
app?
That's a great app.
I don't
It's for
know.
old people.
No, it's not.
For
You can
other
call. You can call
countries.
from the Bahamas for free.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
how I
from
talk
other
to
countries.
my the guy I'm working with in Spain.
Yeah.
We
WhatsApp.
We
But
use a
what's that
WhatsApp.
mean?
Oh, what's that mean?
What's that mean?
What do you mean? Why are you going to
Means
share
you
it
can
with
talk
WhatsApp?
for free. Because
Yeah.
WhatsApp's a free app.
Yeah, but isn't it one of them ones that I don't even know? I'm just talking.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're making it up.
Is it text message?
Can always tell when you're
Yes.
making stuff up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, your lips are moving.
But we also can share. We also can talk on Facebook, so it's not a big deal.
We're just
Yeah, I don't
talking.
Facebook.
Oh, well, then it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Is
Could
it?
be. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Wow, I had a big chest in that picture. Hi, everybody.
Look
Hey.
at that. Ooh,
So today-
Happens
hey.
to me.
I would never know what that is.
Said me
Never.
never.
Share if you care. There's two of us. That must be me and you watching ours. All right, so tonight we're actually talking about something that's kind of
The
important. That's
Titanic
couples.
wouldn't have sunk if you were on it. What are you talking
That's
about?
right. I could have held everybody up.
Right.
A strong like ox.
Lizzie's
Yes.
boobies saved us all.
That's right. There is no deep diving in this life
All
ever.
right, we're going to take a deep dive. Take a.
Birds sit on them.
All right, stand by, my friend.
Well, she doesn't go off diving boards.
My
That would hurt.
phone. I can play my phone and have a full
I done
conversation.
broke my neck. How? Hold on.
Hey, you want to know? It
Snap neck.
wasn't pretty.
We all did.
My hands
All
are
right,
sticky.
let's start the show in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Kids are going, I'm going to feed the world.
That talk made my hands sticky.
live from the Connections Studio Suites.
Get it out of your
It's
system now.
Connections. Connections.
So much for a
is
soft opening.
relationship radio.
Looks like we lost our one listener.
Yes.
Come back!
Come back.
Come back!
It's not usually like that.
Hey,
Yeah, it is.
This is Connections. It's relationship radio with a twist. I am Melissa Fox, and we got a full boat today. We got hashtag Lizzie said what?
That's me, boy.
We got Linda Nunez, our musical girl.
What's up? What's up?
And, of course, our resident psychologist, Dr. Ken Vehec.
Hello.
Hey! So
How
there
are
you
ya?
go. Oh, and did I say I'm Melissa Fox? I don't even
Not
know.
yet.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
okay.
You're there.
Two X's.
Yeah, with
Close.
two X's. Don't disrespect the second X. Thank you.
She's a double X.
You know, I was offered 3. When I first took the name, they said, you can have 3 X's if you want. And I said, I think 2 is good.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with 2. So,
Three's
Yeah.
three's kind of,
extensive.
it's like
it's
extra.
pretentious.
It's
I saw a
extra.
picture with a girl with 3 boobs once. 2 is enough.
Two? You sure?
No, I'm positive.
Okay.
They don't make
All right.
bras for that.
No, really, they
Yeah.
don't. All right, so tonight
But-
the topic is couples therapy.
Ooh.
Now, after a,
Huh.
well, in some states that are listening, you're still locked down. Sorry, you have wussy governors. But
Yeah.
here in Florida, we've kind of been on a, hey, you're adults. Do what
Yep.
you can
Y'all
do.
grown.
Y'all
people.
grown. Handle your business. But the
Yes.
problem is, a lot of us did choose, not just because we were afraid, but because we had to stay home and be locked down. And at a certain point, I think you get tired of each other, or maybe
yeah.
you find out there's some habits that have started to grow during the COVID. Not just your belly, because that grew too.
That did.
2 pounds a week, I think they said was average, something like
Whoa.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I
Yeah,
can tell.
yeah. If not, like like 2-3 pounds a month. Yeah.
His average is like 20 pounds total.
I'm corn
Yeah.
fed, so there was no
Yeah.
difference.
Well, anyway,
Yeah,
point,
there you go.
point is,
There's no difference.
so things went crazy, and they're still kind of getting crazy. And I felt like we should talk about, first of all, couples therapy. What
Most definitely.
is it, Dr. Ken? What is couples therapy?
Couples therapy is when you have a couple of any type come to you with issues that they're not be able to work out on their own. And you have to realize as the counselor when you're doing that thing that there are at least 3 sides to every story.
Indeed.
At least 3. And your job is to define and find out where the middle of the road can be met and what type of compromises each side can make.
I see. So who should have couples therapy?
Everybody.
Friends,
agree.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
I-
sorry. Everybody.
I
Everybody.
totally agree with you.
Okay.
Everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Linda, like, what about mom and dad therapy, that kind of thing? You think everybody should? Like
I
couples,
think
friends?
it's healthy. Look, any relationship is going to hit hard times. So there's no reason why you wouldn't want to, if you're really invested, okay? And most people at the beginning, they are.
Right.
So if you get to that point, most people throw their hands up, say, I don't know what to do, bye.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
There's no reason for that. There are a lot of things that can be discovered through therapy that you're like, man, if I had known that, I wouldn't have said this, or I wouldn't have done this, or I wouldn't have changed the way I approached you.
Right.
And the only way to do that is to have an impartial third person to come help you out, because sometimes you're so deep in it you just can't
You
get
can't see
out.
the
You
forest for the
can't.
trees.
You
you know.
really
Well, because
can't.
and a lot of stuff is like animosity that's been built up over the years. Because I watched that with my
It's-
parents, and it was ridiculous. Like my mom held on to a grudge for 20 years of my dad promising to get a camper and drive across the United States to Washington State so she could see her son and visit those grandkids. And then my dad came down with macular degenerative eye disease, and she's just like, he just
He
chose
did that on
to not do
purpose.
it.
You did that. You.
Did that on purpose.
So,
Yes.
back
Yeah.
to the topic
So
at
let
hand.
me qualify before we go forward.
Please.
Because couples therapy is not just for problems. Couples therapy can be for people who are doing extremely well and say they won the lottery.
Oh.
You know, they need to realize how much of their life's going to change for the better if they do everything they need to. It could also change for the worse if they continue in the same way they are. So there's all kinds of reasons for couple therapy. It's not just because you need something negative going on you need to fix. There's a lot of positive things that cause change in the relationship as well.
Well, like health issues change relationships.
Oh,
yeah.
And you have to, it's big. It's real. It's big. It's all of a sudden right there. What do we do?
Or being forced to be together like a lot of couples because of COVID.
Can you imagine if you were already having troubles and then you got locked down?
Yeah.
See,
Think
I've
about
seen
that.
a few people who have had to divide the house, like run tape.
I saw
through,
that.
and that's not exaggeration.
It's like the
Yeah,
Brady Bunch.
literally had to run tape through the house because they were already on the verge of getting a divorce.
The War of the Roses.
Yeah,
Oh,
War of
it's
the Roses
bad.
right there.
I got more square footage.
When they cut the piano
Great
in
line.
half,
Oh, yeah.
that was the best.
But you see that happening because people all of a sudden who live together maybe 10 hours out of the day
Exactly.
are now we got the full 24.
Yeah, because 8 of those were sleeping.
Yeah.
Right. And then
See?
there's a
there's
jealousy
8 hours
factor,
work, yeah.
too,
Yeah.
maybe. Like one of you can leave the house and go and do errands, and the other one has to stay home all the time. And you're out and about, and you're seeing people. What's
Yeah.
it like?
What's it like? Yeah. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Know what I mean?
Can I go? Can I go?
Yeah, can you go? Yeah.
Yeah, so it gets kind of crazy.
It does. It's what the dynamics changed through this pandemic, and we had people taking on roles that they weren't ready for or
Oh,
had any
teaching, the
any
virtual
inclination for. Yeah.
learning, all that.
How many people out there are actually teachers that have found themselves teaching in this last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
and
about everybody.
it's
Every mother.
amazing. Yeah.
And a lot of
yeah.
fathers,
A lot of
too.
fathers too, but still, who had to take on that role and why, and how did that affect what they normally do?
Yeah, the dynamics have changed,
Yeah.
and I think therapy really is pretty much the way to go to deal with all of those changes, as well as looking at what's next.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of folks who are home were thinking about, hey, why don't we get a kid? You want to bring a kid into this mess? I don't know. So there's a point of
There's a
contention.
lot of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of
But-
things that you can look
But
at.
here's where it gets really strange, if I can use that word.
Do tell.
When everything sort of goes back to normal and the kids start going back to school, right? And all of a sudden, the person who was staying home with the kids now feels that loss. because wait a minute, I got accustomed to that, but now I've got to go back to doing what I was doing before this all started, and I was really doing well with this, or so I thought. Now I got to go back to doing this, and they don't feel complete anymore.
Yeah, that makes
Because they've
sense.
taken on so many other roles and done so many things. You know, it's really great to see the resolve and the resiliency of human nature. You know, and it's really hard to go backwards from that. How do you go back to being what you were after you've become Superman or Superwoman?
Oh.
Yeah, that's tough. Plus, you know, there's that, the
Yeah.
whole acknowledgments and all the wonderful accolades that go, look at you and what you're doing for your kids. You know, they're so
Yeah, yeah.
great. Isn't that a great feeling?
It's almost like it's going to be a postpartum depression again.
It
Well,
might be.
I had a friend of mine who because the kids were all sent home and she had never homeschooled and she had her own profession. So she quit her profession to be able to homeschool. And then when it got time for the kids to go back, the kids were kind of like, I don't know if I really want to. So she decided she was going to continue. But then they decided that they wanted to go back. And she's just like, I am not a teacher. You know, this wasn't working. And then the kids went back and, well, couple of the kids came back home and are not in school and doing home because they couldn't handle going back.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah. Well, that's where, you know, people or organizations like Bob Jones University comes in, which is where, you know, if you're homeschooling, they have the best curriculums. There's so much out there, and it goes to every depth, every level. You can go and get whatever education you're looking for through them.
Wow,
They have
Bob
all
Jones.
the textbooks. They've got all the lesson plans. Yeah, Bob Jones, BJUP.com is where you can go get their stuff. But I give that advice for people that are out there that are homeschooling.
What did he just say?
I don't know.
Sorry.
BJUP?
I'm 12.
I'm 13.
My brain
Oh,
is 12.
gosh. There we go.
BJ
Mother,
up.
may I see UP? Is that what you're running through your head? Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Beep.
I can't take them anywhere.
I need therapy.
It's
You
true.
know.
Let's talk about our penis therapy.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Why don't you just set your ATM card right here? I'll fix that for you, okay?
Okay. So we're talking with Dr. Ken
Be
Vehec
here a
about
while.
couples therapy. Everybody needs it, whether it's the good times, whether it's the bad times. Y'all need to have a little third-party intervention.
Yeah, you do.
And
I
it's,
agree.
it's very important because, again, like you said, there's more than 3 sides to it.
Oh, more than 3 sides to every story.
There really is.
Yeah.
It's really nice to get that fresh perspective. Sometimes you're like, whoa, I never even thought of that.
I never saw it from that angle.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, so when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about couples therapy and some of the ways that topics can be approached.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is
Yeah,
connections.
and the eggshell topics. Those
Ooh,
are
boy.
fun.
Yep, this is Relationship Radio with a twist. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Connections is Relationship Radio.
That's twice I got you tonight.
Yes.
Why you didn't start for me?
Look at us. We work like dogs, we drink, and then we work like hungover dogs.
Strong words from a strange man.
I'm thinking about having you examined for mental illness or drug use or massive head injury.
This is Connections. Broadcasting live every night at 10 Eastern.
On ConnectionShow.com.
now and you're gonna get an F.
Do they
Who's
still
that?
give out Fs?
You know,
Who
a lot
is
of
that
Fs.
singing in the background?
Can it?
Wow.
Can it? It's not me.
That's a
It's not you.
It's
starlet
Linda.
there.
Hey,
Look at that.
She does that?
It's kind of funny. She looked at me like, if you don't say my name, I'm gonna.
She actually does. She does that.
I could try to sing like that, but I'd
So
sound like I was gargling. I don't know.
I know,
It's
right?
so funny.
It's
The first time I met
connection.
Melissa, she couldn't pronounce my name. She bungled
It's
it
on
in,
purpose.
Oh, I know.
15 times.
She was there.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I actually met Lizzie
Uh-huh.
4 minutes before I met Melissa.
That's right.
Yeah,
Really?
I've known her longer.
So you
Yeah.
move on quick? Is that what you're
Yeah,
telling me?
that's what Lizzie writes in.
And we had a relationship
That's
from the
it.
door to the elevator.
There we go. Oh, look at that.
4-minute relationship.
All right,
Yes.
Dan. So
Speaking
anyway, we
of-
are talking about
We
relationships.
might need therapy.
We were.
Couples therapy. Lizzie and I are going to sit down, a little couples therapy with Ken, go over the eggshell conversations that we've been
Oh, yeah.
meaning to have.
Yeah.
I don't like it when you call me brisket, baby.
Well, you know.
Yeah, you never know.
That brisket was good at Bucky's. I'm
Was
just
it?
saying. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Okay.
Fuck yeah, did you say? Okay, great.
Lizzie made me hungry.
All right, so what are some of the topics that need to be broached in couples therapy? Do tell.
One of the first questions I ask when I have a couple that comes into the office for therapy, and they're looking distance, so if they sit apart from each other and things like that.
You look the nonverbal, right?
Yeah, I look at everything from the time. Whoops, sorry about that.
That's why he told us a
Oh,
long time
no.
ago. He
Oh,
said
that is like the best
he
ringtone
doesn't
ever.
like to do Skype because he can't see the
Well,
nonverbal cues.
telehealth visits are
No.
horrible, and they're trying to do them for a vet's office now with
Oh, yeah.
the animals. I'm
Yeah.
like,
That's
are you kidding me?
ridiculous.
Yeah, hey, is your dog gonna
Oh,
talk
no,
to
no,
the
no.
vet?
Yeah.
But that's okay
Yeah.
because I tried calling about a sinus infection that I had, and they go, they'll be telehealth calling you. And I'm like,
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Stick a camera up
Here,
your
guys.
nose?
that's what I said. I was like, are you kidding
What are you gonna
me?
do? Put a
Here, let's
booger on a
floss.
swab and send it to them?
Yeah, they
No.
just
Yeah.
they just went by my old chart and how this time of year I was end up getting a massive
I see.
sinus
Yeah.
infection.
That's not fair to you.
I know.
Anyways,
I
Not,
know.
good,
Anyhow.
not good medicine.
Yeah,
So
so
you-
I like to watch I go out to meet them in the waiting room, and I watch them walk back to the office, and I look at every bit of body language, and especially when they sit down. And one of the very first questions I ask is, what does your bedroom look like? Do you have a TV in your bedroom? And most people nowadays especially are answering, oh yeah, we do.
I have
said,
a 60-inch one.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. And I'm not talking about the TV. So anyway.
Oh.
Hey now,
So, but I'll say to him, I say, the bedroom was designed for two things. One of them is sleeping, and the other one is not TV. Because if you're watching TV and your partner's asleep, the flashing of the
flickering,
the
of
waves and all that stuff coming out of the TV is going to go through the eyelids,
Yeah.
and it's going to disturb that person's sleep. They're not going to get good quality sleep.
And they're not going to know it either.
No, but it's going to knock off their REM cycle, so they may get 3 or 4 instead of 7 REM cycles, which means they're going to wake up tired. The body's not going to repair itself because that's the only time our body really heals itself is
Right.
during REM cycle or when we're sleeping. And if they get poor quality sleep, sleep deprivation begins to kick in, and then that's where you really start to see all the little minuscule problems become the princess and the pea. They just explode. You find yourself having a knockdown, drag-out fight because somebody put the toilet paper on where
Someone
it comes
keeps
over
shutting
the top.
garage door.
Yeah, or coming in under, or somebody runs into a lamp in the garage. So anyway,
It happens.
but over silly little things. Like, instead of the toilet paper coming off the back of the roll, it comes off the top of the roll now. Oh my gosh,
Oh
that'll
my.
start a fight. And you get all these other little things that just keep going, get larger and larger until they just finally explode. And that's that depth of that first question. Talking about do you have a TV in your bedroom, and they go, oh yeah, well, okay, well, how much has that TV affected how much sex you have? And that, for some reason, is a taboo question. And it's like, what? Yeah, wait a minute.
Whoa, how is that?
That's
yeah,
the taboo
we don't
question.
know.
That's the eggshell question.
That's one of the. How much sex do you have, and how often? How many? What would you describe your sex life as? And as a good? And would you think it's a good sex life? I've had people that have gotten once a month saying it's a great sex life. I'm like, what are you, a priest from a small parish? I just don't know.
I don't know though, because like going to bed for me, I'm going to bed to go to sleep. Like forget it. Like you can have it any other time, any way you want. But whenever it comes to me climbing in and pulling them blankets up, I'm done. I'm done for the day.
Don't
And your
bother
partner
me.
understands that.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
understands.
he
He
knows.
respects that.
Yeah.
So that's why
So it works for you.
Yeah. But if you're standing there in a negligee, you got a glass of wine, you got candles going, and he
never
goes,
happen.
"Hey,
he'd be like, who took over my wife's
yeah,
body?
I'm watching Game of Thrones or something. You go to bed.
Gotcha, yeah.
No, but she's lying. Sydney would definitely pay attention.
I know.
Trust me.
I've
he
met
already
him. He's-
Trust me.
He already pays
He,
attention.
he'd be
anyway.
picking her up. And,
Uh-huh.
Look, I
That's the
text.
first thing you did was pick her up on the first date and drop her.
yeah.
Yeah, he pile drive
That's
me, and I
kinda
actually have a
true.
spur on the spine of my neck. I was paralyzed for 20 minutes from it.
Yeah.
Legit.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was so excited.
Wee.
And we'd already had sex by then, so I don't understand why he got so excited about
Before or after getting pile drive?
Both.
before.
Yeah, it was kind of a little combination.
It was
But
part of it.
anyway.
You never know.
There is so much
Anyway.
information being relayed. Linda's lost it at
Yeah.
this point.
But you have to understand that there are questions like that people are afraid of. They don't want to answer.
So do you ask them ahead of time, what do you not want to talk about? And
Oh,
then-
gosh,
no.
no.
then you bring it up. No,
Are there any-
No,
Wait,
no,
you
no,
can't do
no.
that.
There's-
You can't say, okay, I'm going to go in therapy, but I'm not going to
Yeah,
talk about
I'm
this,
not
this,
gonna talk
and
about
this.
this. I'm
Oh,
not
no.
because
no.
right away those are the hot button issues I go right to.
But that's what I'm saying, is
Yeah.
that gets you, automatic.
Well,
Gets
you know.
Because everybody fills out the questionnaire. I mean,
Make
I've
them
got
squirm.
a big 15-page
Yeah,
questionnaire.
That's true.
I want people to come out and
So
read
I
through
got a
it
question.
and-
So you know that they're coming in. So do you like stand at the window and watch them walk in and watch them like fight when they go to walk in and then they come in
Right,
and then all of a sudden
tighten
they're
up.
hol-
If
they're holding
possible, yeah.
hands?
Sure.
That's funny. Watch them tighten
can
up
learn-
and
Yeah.
try to grab hands.
Listen,
You
you learn a
learn
lot about people when
so
they don't
much.
think you're watching
Yeah.
them.
Oh yeah.
Linda from the cheap seats.
You're gonna have to
No.
watch. You have to give me an update
Yeah.
on me and Shrek whenever you see us out with you.
You sure?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
You can handle it. We're talking about couples
We're
therapy.
going on 30 years, so
Yeah.
why not?
We're
Yeah.
talking about couples therapy tonight. Linda, when you talk, you should use the microphone.
She did. She leaned to the side
Wow.
and leaned past the mic.
I don't want to be too loud and screaming in her ear.
like.
I'm just messing
You're
with
fine.
Like if I was gonna get COVID, I was gonna get it right then and there because you went past the mic and into my face.
Right.
And
Wow. She
just picking on her.
It was fun. We're just having fun. That's all good. All in good humor. But at couples therapy's on the table tonight. Dr.
Yep.
Ken Vehec, psychologist, is with us to help us through. Everybody needs some sort of therapy. Everybody should be talking. You want your relationships to work, good and bad times, you really should consider getting some sort of counseling. Used to be, before you got married, the church did counseling.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
That
that's
went.
right.
That went to the. What happened to that?
No, there's still.
They wouldn't let 'em
there's
have
still a lot
sex.
of yeah.
Well,
that's
no,
true.
there's a
That's
lot of
part of it.
rules, but that was part of learning how to get to, the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, you had to pass the
What?
church. You had to get their blessing on the paper before the priest would marry you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Well, the priest, our priest,
Not the priest that diddled you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Our
Not the pervs.
our pastor wouldn't marry us until Shrek got saved.
Get
Oh,
saved.
really?
Gotta dip that big boy in the
and
water.
then he could be
I don't think
baptized
he
after.
wouldn't fit in a kiddie pool. I'm sorry. How did you do that?
But it was so because he like the pastor kept trying to get a hold of us like 3 months ahead.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we got things to do. We got
We're
things
good.
to do. I don't have brother Tommy. I don't have time to sit down with you. And then like at our rehearsal dinner, he goes, you guys aren't going to move forward until I have a conversation with you both. He goes, I know you're saved.
What?
He goes, but I don't know if Shrek is saved. And he goes, we need to have a conversation about this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And maybe he got saved, but I mean, it's
Because
because I was like, you want some of this? You got to go to
You
Jesus.
want it anymore? You gotta find a God.
Have a come to Jesus
I'm
moment.
thinking that probably would have been my first comment when you took the shirt off.
Right.
Exactly.
I've already come to Jesus. How much more coming to Jesus can I do?
Wow.
And so
I'm gonna
anyway.
need therapy after
Yeah,
this.
it's probably true.
Pretty true. Yeah.
All right, everybody, ATM cards on the table. Here we go.
There you go.
Oh, neurological services.
Yeah.
Is that right? What
I'm
is it?
sticky again.
Neuro impact.
Neural Impact Services.
yeah.
All right, more information coming on that. We can take a quick break, and we're all going to get a little therapy.
Yeah.
Some people are playing the drinking game, by the way, at home, and Linda
Yeah.
did leave the room,
All
so
right, I'm out.
she's leaving again. Stand
Okay.
by.
Drink again.
Places, everyone. It's showtime.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a minute. We would like for you to relax, and with your kind indulgence and attention, we'll do a little show for you.
Man, it's out of sight.
Rebecca says it's not showing up on Facebook.
Who?
Rebecca said it's not showing up on Facebook.
Rebecca's not looking in the right place. Oh, well.
I don't know.
All right, who knows?
Who knows?
Oh, Rebecca, go to my page, for God's sakes. Make it hard. Yeah, we're
I'll
everywhere.
message her.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's not on. Who knows where it is?
I know where it is.
I know. Would you share it on
I
our
share it.
page? Thank you. My gosh. Those social warriors, I tell you, justice for all.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, I like you know what our listeners
Yeah.
keep us up to
They
date
beat
and
the
say,
heck
look,
out of us.
Mm.
But
they say, look, you are not doing well, and I want to help you. And we're like, okay. So speaking of not doing well,
Yes.
what about couple therapy?
What
Why
about-
is it so important? So okay. So those of us or people who don't have the money to spend on a therapist, is there a couple of steps or ideas to maybe to start a conversation to help?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's always
A beginning.
A beginning.
place to
Yeah. There's
start.
always a place to start, and that place to start is usually communication.
All
Right.
right.
Now, it's if you make lists of what bothers you. We talked about that a little earlier today. Find out different things and write them down so you don't forget them, and then you address them casually. You don't address them aggressively. You don't address them to demean. And say, hey, I noticed that you did this, this, and this the other day. What was behind that? How were you feeling? Was it something? 'Cause it's not you normally. and then you go from there. And then they pull out their list and go, well, I saw you do this, 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 and oh, when you said this, it really hurt.
Now, what would you say? Because I can automatically see a fight starting because
Sure.
Because pointing out, because the part of the mediation training that I took, the worst thing you can do is point out what somebody else did and go, well, you did this, this, and this. So you need to turn it onto yourself,
Right.
to help.
And you said I thought I was clear.
Sorry.
When you write
probably
these
weren't.
down, this is what this made me feel.
Okay, there you go. Okay, all right.
Okay.
You probably said
I
just didn't catch
feel
that.
Okay.
that.
Yes.
Right.
That's where
Okay.
you need to start.
That's where you
Okay.
bring it that way.
Not you did this
Yeah.
and
No,
you
no,
did
no,
that.
no.
No, it's I feel
This is the way
slighted
I
when
perceive
you
this.
say something.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and you go from there, and then they have their list to say, possibly what they felt when something occurred, and or if a comment was made that was like an offhanded or backhanded comment that they took it that way, it wasn't meant that way. You can
Right.
say, oh no, this is what we were talking about. This is what I really said or meant that to mean,
Right.
and it just clears the air.
Now what? Now at that point, I guess if you're at that point, then you have to agree that you're not going to let other animosity feed into that, right?
There's
or
a
no?
there's a
How
game
do you
that
do
goes
that?
with this.
Okay.
Okay, where you set a timer.
Right.
Okay, and say, okay, you have 2 minutes to air this and be heard. Okay,
And be heard.
And
Real,
be
that's
heard.
important.
And be heard. Okay,
Hurt.
heard.
Heard.
And
As
then
in
the
cattle.
other person has their 2 minutes, and there's a judgment-free zone. Basically, it's okay. This is what I felt. This is what I perceived, and you can go through that without being interrupted. That's important.
Big deal.
Oh, okay.
Okay, without being interrupted, and then that person can either choose to rebut or correct and say, "This is what I meant when that occurred. I'm sorry," or you just perceived that wrong. This is what I was actually trying to say, and then you can have a discussion over that. Then that person, once that's all done, which you add another like 4 or 5 minutes to do that, the discussion. You had 2 minutes. They get to talk about what they want and say it again, uninterrupted. And then you talk about that for 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then that's it. You go, okay, all right, let's have dinner.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
I like it.
I have
Go
a
ahead.
question for the doctor.
Okay.
In my life, I have hit a wall. It was long ago, but individually, I hit a wall, and I went to therapy individually and
Okay.
worked that out. Is there something to be gained for these couples while they're doing couples therapy to also get some individual therapy,
Yes.
especially if it's bad?
Yes. Yeah. The idea that couples therapy is going to solve everything is incorrect.
Okay.
I like to have at least 1 or 2 individual sessions with the people that I'm doing couples therapy with, because you're going to find out more
Individually.
in an individual
Sure.
therapy and get better insight, and it's going to make you a better counselor for them.
Right.
Right? It's not like you're going to get dirty little secrets, but you're going to get a deeper insight to what makes this person tick and to make this person tick. I was talking earlier tonight with a couple about introverts and extroverts, and explaining the differences and the nuances that actually attracted each other to them, right? But then it become a detriment because of COVID-19 and what it's done as far as slamming them together, penning them down, and one's not meant to be that way, and the other one just enjoyed it too much.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, so there's a lot of dynamics that you get to understand when you're dealing with the individuals.
And I think that time simply just changes us.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Over time, we just morph into different human beings a little bit, and we don't realize it. So then all of a sudden, we're not getting along, and what happened?
Yeah.
Where did we go wrong?
I like to use the analogy for anybody out there who's a Star Trek fan.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, if you have a young Klingon, and then you look at what they look like when they've aged them,
Yeah.
they just that's not that person.
Yeah, it's a totally different person.
Totally different person. But in a physical way where you can look at that, we do that mentally. As we age, we change, we learn, we grow, and our personality shifts a little bit. And then we get to a point where.
But to us, we haven't changed.
Well, because we're with ourselves.
Right.
Okay.
So
So what are you talking about? I was never
so
like
what are
that.
you talking about? I'm not different.
Yeah. Okay.
So what do you recommend when you've got one person that's gone just cold crazy,
Okay.
and the other one is trying to stay stable, and we need a come to Jesus moment? What do
Yeah.
you suggest?
Well, there's the interview that I go through with that is to find out what it was like before? What are the changes? And then why are the changes?
Yeah, because it could be hormonal. It could
There's
be
a whole bunch of things.
aging,
Sure.
It could be trauma. It could be like losing a parent or
Yeah.
a sibling or a family member or a child that just
Could
totally
be
set them off.
chemical.
Ooh, yeah.
And I can explain that. And I don't mean illicit drugs or anything
No,
like
no,
that. There was a couple where the guy was working in a furniture refurbishing place, right? He was a salesperson, but he liked to do the refurbishing as well. But he didn't do it as a profession. He did it as a hobby. Well, somebody got fired or let go, and he took over that job, refurbishing on a full-time basis. Well, he was exposed to those chemicals, and it affected his brain because he wasn't wearing the proper mask, he wasn't doing the proper ventilation, and it changed his personality.
What-
How long did it take?
How long
Actually,
did
it only took like 2 months.
Put down the
We're
airplane
pretty
glue.
Gosh, no, because I have a couple friend who is dealing with one spouse that is totally changed.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, like totally, and they have no more empathy
Turn into-
anymore.
It's turned into a
Nothing.
crap show. It's probably
yes.
something to do
And
with
I'm
that.
going, and I don't understand. I'm like, oh well, maybe because it is the wife, and I'm like, she's our age. She's probably having hormonal or this, but she is going to the doctor, and everything seems to be fine. Holy cheese and
Well,
crackers!
this is
Exactly.
listen. This
Get
is
an
what
MRI.
happens with the football players when they
Yeah.
get the CTE.
That
They
or-
completely change their personality.
Dr. Klein's got that cognitive test though too. That's your first step on something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
is to see
Yeah,
if
that'd be-
all the bells and whistles are
Yeah,
working.
and you can do that also through an interview. Like when we're talking, my lady came to me and we're talking, and they got the couple there, so there's nothing being hidden. And she goes, he's an asshole.
Well,
And I went, well, has he always been?
you knew
And
that
she was
getting
offended.
into
She goes,
it.
"What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, if you married him,
You
was he
married
like
him,
this?"
Yeah.
Yeah, did you marry
And,
that?
and she went, "No, this is new." And I went, "Okay, let's find out why."
Yeah, because my mom said that. She said you're gonna meet and marry a guy someday, and he's gonna be a jerk just the same.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
like,
quite possible.
Yeah,
Melissa and I have arguments, and we'll say this is not new.
Yeah.
And we keep. Sometimes we'll butt into the same thing. We're like, we've had this argument before.
I've been there.
Yes. And at some point, if you can't get past that argument, that's when it's time to say, I need a third party to help us out. Let's see what a third party might say.
Here come the judge.
Because we
Yeah.
keep having this same argument.
Yeah.
And I have found myself saying, I am tired of being here, and I'm tired of this argument.
Now, what do you get out of the argument?
Sometimes candy.
So there's a reward.
I'm just
See,
kidding.
so
It's
there's
a
reward.
payoff.
All I get out of an argument is frustration.
But what-
I gotta tell
But do
you.
you
Okay,
enjoy the
but-
frustration? You
Okay,
gotta-
Dr.
No.
There's all kinds of angles
Some
for this.
people do,
Like
but
a
I
can,
don't.
we had about a minute before we had to take a break.
This is a great onion to peel, by the way.
I know, right?
So,
Have
Dr.
fun.
Ken, why would you have the same argument over and over? Does
Because you didn't hit resolution.
Because you're stubborn, both
But
of
how do
you.
you not get? I don't understand how you don't get resolution in
Okay,
something.
I'll tell you. Because the argument can be over behavior.
Okay.
And so you have an argument over somebody's behavior. I won't do it again, but they do. There you are, back to the same argument.
Okay. Okay.
All
Okay.
right, because they keep doing something that you've talked about and both agreed won't happen anymore.
I don't
and
know
yet
what
it
she's
does.
talking
But here's where this becomes the dynamics kick in, because the person who's demanding the change from the other one doesn't realize the other one doesn't want to change.
Or can't.
That can't
Or can't change.
That's right.
They're
okay.
pre-wired.
So you can just keep butting into the same thing.
Yep. So we
Makes
are
sense. You guys are so
learn
smart.
to deal with it.
Yeah.
Or get her done.
We've been there, baby.
It's almost like I went to school.
I know, right?
Couples Therapy will continue with Dr. Ken Vehec. We are Connections Relationship Radio with a twist. Catch the podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
Yeah. I read the back of the Bazooka Joe comics.
Hey.
That's where I got my therapy notes from.
Hey now, baby. Let's keep it real here.
Idle hands spend time at the genitals, and you know how much God hates that.
We fought a whole war with England over that.
Did we?
We did.
Pretty much.
Sure, yeah. That's
That's what the
Freedom to
Puritans-
touch ourselves.
That's
Woo,
right.
welcome back to Connections.
That's why we had a war.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
why
much.
we came over here. Was
Yeah.
to touch
It's all about
ourselves.
sex.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
about
it was.
tea.
Yes, tea, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
Tea.
Tea.
It's just a
It's when
euphemism.
really it's the tea. It was.
It was a euphemism. We're talking about couples
Actually, we
therapy.
did throw the tea in the harbor, but
Well, yeah, there was that.
Okay.
yeah, but that was just a waste. It was so stupid. Anyway, so the Boston Massacre and the
Boston
Boston Tea
Massacre.
Patty.
patty.
We're not talking about the patty right
Patty.
now. What we're talking about is couples therapy.
yes,
Just go.
Therapy.
Just go.
yeah.
Just
Please,
do
just
it.
go.
Just do it. Do
Let's
it.
go to therapy.
It. You know, I have to say,
Oh.
it is one of the most refreshing feelings after coming out of that and actually feeling like you got somewhere.
Yeah.
Because to be stuck in a relationship that you want to be in the relationship, but it ain't working, that is one of the worst feelings in the world. And
Yeah.
so when I went to my therapy and worked out some of the issues from childhood, I got to tell you, it was freeing.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't have to think about that anymore. This is great.
Yeah.
Yep. Put it on a piece of paper, crumble it up, throw it away.
Throw it away. That's my favorite thing. Write it down.
So, Lizzie, no couples therapy for you, huh?
I guess not. I don't know.
Oh.
I just chalk it up to, oh, well, I
Whatever.
married it. He's
Married
still
it.
good in bed, so, I mean, what am I going to complain about?
And see, yeah.
Getting pile driven.
That's
Yeah,
it.
right.
Spur in the back of your
That's
neck.
right. Spur on the spine of my neck. Thank
right,
you.
Right. A little guillotine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got
Yeah,
her.
I got you.
Putting
Every
you to
time he
sleep.
says pile driven, it makes me laugh.
Well, that's because
It
you
was.
imagine.
It actually was. I was pile driven on top of my head.
Yeah. Boom.
Oh,
All right.
gotcha.
Why would you do that?
I was literally paralyzed for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I heard that. We was so excited. He picked her up and dropped her on her head.
Listen, that did you know?
like
Was
I'm
it you
watching
that said you
Hee-Haw.
know somebody who's working with chemicals and they're not?
Yes. Yeah.
Listen, that
That's
killed
okay.
my grandfather.
Did it really?
Yeah, so it's not a joke.
Oh no.
It gave him colon cancer and
Yeah.
went straight to his
Well-
liver because he would work out in the garage for hours with no ventilation.
But that's the thing is
Yeah.
this couple, I mean, they're ventilating stuff, but the thing is that they're doing this as a hobby together, and they're refurbishing furniture and selling it on Facebook Marketplace, and they're doing a
have
great job.
Got to mask
They've
up.
gotta
got to
mask
mask up.
man.
They've
So-
got to make the building right.
I'll
Otherwise,
mention
it's,
it to
It's
them,
real,
but-
and it won't happen. It may not happen today or tomorrow. They may say, "I'm fine." Well,
They've been doing this for
20
like a
years
year.
from now, you're gonna wish you had. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
exposure.
So with the lockdown being released and endorphins on
Oh, yeah.
the tip
On-
of our fingertips, ready to be released as well.
They're
How do we
just-
rein in all
Yeah.
this
How do we be
craziness?
cool about the big,
You know,
the big
that's
come out?
that's going to be one of the harder things that society is going to have to deal with. Can you imagine the first night that all the bars in downtown Orlando are open?
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's real. I mean,
Are there any
Yeah.
bars that's not open?
Well, there's
well,
still
who's gonna
understood-
die on the roads from drunk driving that night?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, is Wall Street fully open?
no,
No.
no.
You see,
I
Not
don't
at
know
all.
because I'm
Orange
not up
County
here.
is still under
Orange
some
County, you
restrictions.
can't even go
That's
into
right,
a
I
building without a
forgot.
mask.
we got Jerry.
I was like,
I don't know where I got my accent. You know, he's from Orlando.
Yeah.
Where
he's
did
from,
that-
and he's got that thick of an accent.
Yeah,
I think he
he's-
made it up.
He
made
did.
it up, yeah, probably.
But yeah,
It's
so
not
okay.
one of my favorite people.
So whenever we unlock all the doors and
Yes.
open up the floodgates,
Yes.
Be
Yes.
cool, people.
I'm not saying it's going to be Sodom and Gomorrah, but you know
It's gonna
it's
be
going to be
close.
close.
Mm-hmm.
And
is.
people are just not going to know how to handle themselves because they're not going to be ready for this full onslaught to their senses.
Well, we saw it when the bars first reopened. How many months ago? 6-8 months ago, back
Yeah.
here in Seminole County. That first time out, everyone was like high fiving and hugging and seeing everybody, and we're like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
this is hot
I
mess."
gotta
Not what
tell
we were
you,
supposed to be doing.
I was just up in Pennsylvania, and it is so locked down.
Yeah,
it's,
Lord.
it's like the Quakers took over again.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know, everybody
That's-
up there is so repressed.
No singing.
I mean, you can't even go to church up there.
I know.
still.
No, it's true.
You know, you have to actually put yourself on the reservation list for church, and then they assign you a pew. You know?
we had the Comcast guy come and fix my dad's box yesterday, and he's just moved. He moved here 2 years ago from New Jersey, born and raised, I think, in New Jersey. And he says, when I came down to vacation, I guess he said I really like the weather. He says, and then I'm glad I'm here during COVID. He says, because I've had family come down here, and he goes, it's a nightmare if you go back up to Jersey. He goes, you can't even think for yourself.
No. Nope, they don't want you doing that. And the
So-
bars up there close at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, the restaurants are closing at 8. You know,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
They have
And-
buttoned it down.
Yeah, and you've got to, and in Pennsylvania, because their governor had COVID and he knows what's best for you.
He knows.
You have to sit in the restaurant with the mask on, and as you take a bite, you pull the mask down as you bring it to your mouth and put the mask back up.
Yeah, that's
That's
enough.
gross.
I want a divorce. Oh wait.
from that
Yeah.
from that state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I spent 8 years trying to get out of that
Yeah.
state.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
know.
bet.
Yeah, Governor Wolf, he's a brainless idiot.
Wow.
He really is. I mean, they don't follow the science. The science will tell you the masks don't work.
I know. And now they're back to the 3 foot instead of 6 foot with
Yeah,
the kids
CDC's.
only. Though.
Yeah, well, yeah. But
Well, if you're a
classrooms-
loud talker, though, you
Yeah, don't say B's and Y's.
Right.
B's
Yeah.
and
Well, that
Y's.
means
From your
that means
plosives.
all Latin people.
all
Yeah,
Latin
there you go,
people
yeah.
up at least 6 feet away.
Got to be at least 9 feet away.
In California, Disney's opening. They're trying to figure out how to keep people from screaming on the roller coasters to not pass COVID. I'm
Well,
like,
they did that in Japan. They had them.
Oh, yes,
Remember
yes.
the two business guys, and they went through the whole thing with the stoic.
Yeah. But we figure what the heck? That's Japan.
And their heads just bouncing
But
around.
yeah,
Yeah.
in California,
I saw a
read
lady go silent on a roller coaster, but it wasn't because of COVID.
she blacked out.
Yeah.
she
she
did. She
freaked.
was out.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, when I read that news article last week, I was like,
Yeah.
"What?" And then they went into the article about how singing, and if you leave out, I
Yeah.
think B and Y, I think that was the letters
With the
out
plosives, yeah.
of yeah.
What
the-
about P?
Yeah.
What about S?
Don't
P,
pop your
D,
P.
Come
G,
on, man.
F, S.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
That is
First of
pretty
all,
crazy.
if you're at a concert,
So
you're 15 feet away from the stage.
Right.
You're not
so
going to get it from
so
the
if
singer.
you're dealing with that, then how do you deal with couples therapy and talking to people if you can't say that?
we talk real low.
Quiet.
It's
Low
you know, it's one of
talkers.
those. I'll put on my Birkenstocks and socks.
Oh, stop.
You know,
I'm
I'll
leaving.
light the candles.
I'm
and-
going
Would
home
you do
now.
Would you do couples therapy online?
Yeah,
You would. Okay.
I do.
But it's not his. He
It's
doesn't
not
my
his-
like
preference.
it.
He doesn't
But it's what we
prefer.
have to. It's what we have
Yeah,
to
but
do.
if somebody's in South Dakota and wants to talk to you, that's probably the only way it's going to happen.
No,
South
I
Dakota.
can't do that. I have to be licensed in whatever state that
I
Yeah,
see.
you-
I'm
yeah,
providing
it's-
therapy for.
I see. That's
It's
right.
about
So,
that,
yeah.
too. So anyway, so in conclusion, couples
Yes.
therapy, good.
Good.
Yes.
For
Very
every reason.
Okay.
Not just because you're having difficulties.
Right.
Okay.
But even in the good times,
Even the good
decision
times.
making,
Sure.
all of
You
that.
know, you say you get a bequeath, and
Oh,
you
I'm
get,
sorry.
you get a couple $100,000.
Who's
you know?
bequeath me?
Yeah, whoever it is, but they give you a couple $100,000. You need to talk to somebody about the best thing to do.
Yeah.
And get your wish lists out. Talk about all these things. Get it out in the open.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can go, yeah, this doesn't make sense. This, okay, yeah, and put together a nice plan.
Okay, that's a good point.
Okay.
So when I win the lottery in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks,
Call me.
I'll be giving you a call.
But when you are
ATM
doing,
card.
Down ATM.
and I'm not great at this, but you got to make sure that when you have these discussions that he's talking about, that you speak kindly.
Yes. It has to
Otherwise, it's
be-
not going to work.
It has to be unemotional and just a matter of factly. This is what this made me feel.
Yeah. See, Lizzie's
I
over
gotta
there going.
disagree. Not
gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not gonna
I don't
happen.
like people pussyfooting around me. I'd much rather somebody just be mean.
rather-
and-
Right to
and-
it.
I'll just pal drive
That's
it.
right. That's it.
You're an asshole, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Ah,
Yes.
nice.
There you go.
No, but for normal people, I
No,
guess you need
but
to.
there are all kinds of different ways that you can get therapy. It doesn't have to be, face to face. It could be over the internet. It could actually even be over the phone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't prefer that one at all, but
No.
it can be done.
No.
All depends on what the
But
situation
look
dictates.
around because it's out there
Oh yeah.
and it works.
Always ask for help. Please
Get it.
ask for help.
Get help. And if you can't get help here, get help somewhere.
That's right,
Yeah,
baby.
yes, most definitely. Thank you all for hanging out with us today. As always, you can get the replays on iHeartRadio app. Say goodbye, everybody.
Hey, goodbye.
Thanks. Love you, mean it.
Laughing time is over.